Alright guys, so hopefully by now you've been able to learn a couple things through these videos. This particular video is going to be a two-part series. The first part dealing with downloading the script zip folder to your computer, and then the second part of the series will be actually using the scripts. Without further ado, let me get right into it. When you're first seeking to download the latest script file, you're going to go to the 2017 AMS Data Hub. Many of you are familiar with that by now. And we're going to utilize the MISC files category. If it's collapsed, all you need to do is expand it by clicking on the plus symbol. Right now we've got this ominous red text that just indicates that this is still under testing, but hopefully we'll have that verified here shortly, and the final version will be somewhat reliable. I say somewhat because there's always a chance the script will go haywire, and if you've been using the script, you know that the answer to that is typically just mashing the escape key or hitting Control R for to reload the script. Either of those two options. But if it's really going AWOL, definitely escape key is your friend. Just that little caveat there. Let's get right into it. First step is obviously downloading the file, same as every other file download on Smartsheet. We're going to go ahead and hover over the paperclip here, and you can see that the zip file is indeed loaded. We're going to click on the paperclip. That brings up our download box, and we're going to check the file for download, and click up here on the Actions button to pull up the menu. And then download the selected file. Alright, and this is going to open up the downloads bar at the bottom of your browser, and as I always recommend, I click on this arrow typically once it's done downloading. It might actually be finishing up, but we're going to go show in folder. Okay, and that brings up our downloads folder. Again, this is the pathway, ATE. Yours might be different, your user folder, but this is the actual file here. And at this point, it's not real critical that you install this script file to any particular location. I would probably recommend just downloading it to your desktop for easy access. You can always move it later if you wish. So let's go ahead and do that just for demonstration purposes. So we'll double click on the file, and you can see the .exe file. That's the actual executable file, which means this is the actual program itself. We're going to click on it to highlight. Just click one time, and we're going to extract all files. And by the way, I might mention that at any time if you find yourself getting lost or I go too fast, you can always rewind these videos. Just click on the progress bar on the YouTube video or the other video player that you're using, and just rewind and play it again. Or you can hit the pause button and catch up if you need to. So don't forget to utilize those options. That's the beauty of video. Or you could fast forward, although I recommend listening to the entire video, painful as it may be. This is the pathway that the computer's asking it to download to. Just for easy access, again, we're just going to click up here on the desktop, and that's going to extract it directly to your desktop. So I'll click on it one time. I'll hit my OK button down here because that's where I want to put it, and I can see my pathway is correct here. Users ATE desktop. Yours might look a little different, but as long as it says desktop, you're probably good. I'm going to click on extract and wait for it to actually extract. And now it's showing me, if I look carefully, it's got a little tree icon here. That is the file living on my desktop. Incidentally, if I close this window by Xing out, I can view my desktop. Even if I have 100 windows open like I do right now, I can actually view my desktop by clicking on the bottom right hand corner of the screen on this square right here. You can see the little tooltip that pops up. It says show desktop. So I'll click on that, and there's my desktop there with my beautiful stock image. You should yours is probably going to look different, but you should see this icon somewhere on your desktop. I would probably recommend at this point dragging the program. Just click one time, hold down the mouse button, and drag it down to your taskbar. And it's not going to let me actually drag it here because well, there it goes. I have so many programs down here already. But once I'm hovering over my taskbar, then I'm going to release the button, release my left click button, and it actually, you can see it here, it's not real clear, but that's the actual program right there. It's always available to access no matter how many windows I have open. So I recommend that for placement. You can launch the program from either location, either from the icon on the desktop or from the taskbar, as they call it. So now you're essentially set, ready to start scripting. If we click on the icon, this box may or may not pop up for you, and we'll say it's always good to make sure this box is checked, just in case you open some kind of nefarious software you want it to double check. So we'll go ahead and click run. We know that this is legit software, so we'll click run, and then you see if you've used the later version, you'll see the splash screen pop up and disappear, which means you're running. You might also see the small icon running in, they call this the tray, system tray, in addition to the small icon on the taskbar. So that just kind of indicates that you're running. And of course, when you hit the escape key, that closes the script entirely and shuts it down, and you'll see the splash screen, session terminated, and the script is now ready to function. Incidentally, that's step one. We also need one more item. So we're going to go back to Smartsheet, and we're going to close out of this download window. And we also need, for those of you that send letters, which should be all of you, at some point or another, you're going to need this templates folder. Okay, and so very similar to downloading the actual program, you're going to actually download this folder to a very specific location. I'll show you that in a second. So same process, click on the paperclip and select the file, and then on this drop down menu you're going to click on download selected file. Same process, and here again, just like clockwork, it pops up on the browser download bar. It's a quick download, not very big, and we're going to say show in folder. And by now you're seeing probably some of your previous downloads, which it's okay to leave them here. You can always clean this out later if you need to. But there's my templates.zip folder. And this next step is very important because the script is actually going to be looking for this folder in a very specific location. And in order to keep things uniform so that the script works on everyone's computer, this needs to go on your C drive, the parent directory. I'll show you how to do that. So same process for all zip files. Double click and go into the file itself. We're going to actually click on this folder one time to highlight it, and then click on extract all files. And this is for our familiar destination, and we're actually going to go to the computer option here and click on the arrow, and that's going to open up the option to save to our local disk. This is your C drive, this is your parent directory, and it needs to go on your C drive because if you put it in My Documents, we have different pathways depending on if you're an ATE user folder like me, or you have your own user folder. I keep bringing that up, but in order to make the script run universally, we have to actually put this templates folder on our C drive, since everyone has a C drive. Alright, so we'll click OK. And you can see the pathway there. It's very simple. Click extract. There's already a folder there. I'm going to go ahead and replace mine. You probably won't have one. Maybe if you do, you might want to save over this file. If you don't want to save over it, if you have 2016 letter data that you've been using, I suspect that most of you are not using this folder, even though it is created on your C drive, because you were probably using a letter recipient's Excel file and another location. That's my guess. But if you do have this templates folder and you're concerned, you might want to, at this point, click no and go into find this file on your C drive, your templates folder, and save it as templates. Rename it as templates_old or some other name so that you can get to it in the future without writing over it. Once you do that, once you rename it, then you can restart these steps and then download this templates folder without concern of overwriting any necessary or critical data. But probably, I'm guessing that 9 out of 10 of you have not used this templates folder, even though we downloaded it at a meeting about 6 months ago or so for use with the scripts. So let's go ahead and, in most cases, again, unless you have concerns, let's go ahead and just overwrite it.
Jeff, Don, you got a copy?
I got the radio going on. Somebody's trying to get a hold of me. Imagine that. So we're going to go ahead and, actually I'm going to pause this real quick. I'll be right back with you guys. Okay guys, through the magic of the pause button, I am back with you here. And picking up where we left off here a second ago, which probably, again, through the power of video, didn't take any time at all. But this is popping up because I already have a, templates folder with a couple subfolders in it on my in my C drive. So you probably won't have this, but if you do, go ahead and just overwrite it unless you are concerned, in which case go back and into your C drive in your templates folder and rename that folder to make sure there's no conflict with this step here. So I'm going to say do this for all current items. I want to overwrite everything. I want to say yes. I want to do this for the next 10 conflicts and copy and replace. This is going to overwrite my other documents, which is okay in this case. And now, after all of that, which hopefully you don't have to go through all that, but if you do, now you're here with me. We've got this templates folder on our C drive. And we'll double click on it, and you're going to have three folders in here. The first one is forms, and this just has a 418 template and a 1015 template from the days of not having an automated version of the forms through Arbor directly. We had to go through these Excel sheets, which were pretty good when they were in their heyday, but now they're kind of old news. So we'll leave those alone. We'll hit the back button here to go back. Our letters. This is kind of the meat and potatoes of this new system. Shout out to Dale Hetrick for creating this for the group, and Tim Shriver for emailing this to me so I could get the latest version of what they were using. But this is I'll double click and open it up. This is the actual file that you'll be using for your letters. That's a separate video. I'll make a video on how to create your letters and your mailers. It's a fairly simple process once you understand the basic principle. But this is obviously a 1015 form that will interface with your letters list. So your list of addresses and names that you're going to farm from your GIS data will work with this form here to create a personalized package for each no contact letter that you need to send. So pretty slick system here. Thanks to Dale for setting it up, and for Tim for sending it to me. It should work well. So with that being said, I'll just take one glance at we'll go back to we'll use the back button, or we can go back, because each one of these represents a folder. We can click on the templates to go back to our home folder, and we can go into our actual mailings, folder here, and this is actually the list that you'll be looking at. This right here is where you're going to be pasting your information to keep track of who you need to send letters to. So again, subsequent video we should cover this in part 2 coming right up. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.